Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Tevaron here, and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Magic. This week, we are going to be playing a Jeskai control build that was posted by Covert Go Blue in the latest entry in his Duel Diaries blog. I will link to that in the description if you would like a list that's a little bit easier to access. We're going to go through here and talk about some card choices. The deck is running 4 Fiery Impulse, which is great for early threat removal and trying to keep your life high. There's no real life gain in the deck, but between Fiery Impulse and Twin Bolt over here, you can usually control the early game and get to the mid to late game with a decently high life total. We're playing one Jace Vryn's Prodigy, who is just an all-around good creature slash planeswalker. 4 Alchemist Vials. These are kind of a cycling card in the deck. They also have the added benefit of being able to make a creature unable to attack or block, plus they synergize with one of our other card choices quite well. 2 Celestial Flares. This helps us deal with problem creatures such as Gaia's Revenge, or just with any sort of thing that's threatening our life total. We already talked about Twin Bolt. Good early creature removal. 2 Scatter to the Winds. These are the only counter spells in the deck, and there is sort of a mild Awaken theme in the deck. In testing this, most of the games that I won were on the back of Awakened lands from the few Awaken spells that we have in the deck. Artificer's Epiphany. Draw 2 cards. If you control no artifacts, discard a card. Best case scenario, we have an Alchemist Vial out, and then this is an instant speed divination for us. 2 Radiant Flames, which is a nice early to early mid-game-ish board sweeper. 2 Exquisite Firecraft, which can serve the dual purposes of controlling our opponent's creatures or finishing them off if we need that little bit of damage near the end of the game. Coastal Discovery as a 3 of. This is a card draw spell with Awaken. This has been really good for me in this deck. I was honestly quite skeptical about running this over Inspiration or some other card draw, but the Awaken is very, very good in this deck. And a 4/4 creature is actually more difficult to deal with than you would imagine. 1 Gideon, Ally of Zendikar. Generally, you put him out there, put a 2/2 White Knight ally token out, and then if you have controlled the board the next turn, you just start ticketing him up and swinging with a 5/5 indestructible. Disciple of the Ring. This lady is just an all-around house. She does so much. You can pay 1. Exile an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard and do one of these things. You can counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2, and you can do that multiple times if you need to make them pay more than just the 2 to counter that spell. Disciple of the Ring gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Tap target creature or untap target creature. And we have a glut of instant and sorcery spells in this deck to feed her with. 2 Planar Outburst. Great board sweeper / awaken card, and it is very important to note that this says destroy all non-land creatures, so if you have creatures that you've previously awakened, you can cast Planar Outburst and those guys will stick around. And 4, yes, 4 Angelic Edict. That may seem like overkill, but again, these have been great for me in the games that I've tested with this deck. Can exile creatures or enchantments. Our land base is 3 plains, 3 islands, 3 mountains, 2 prairie streams, 2 clifftop retreats, 2 sulphur falls, 2 glacial fortress, 1 Azurius Guildgate. Oops, I think I have gotten this wrong here. Yes, this should not be 2 Izzet Guildgate. I've actually been playing with the deck a little bit misconstructed there then. I believe it is an Orzhov Guild Gate. Let me check the list that I have here. Oh, no, it's Boros. Okay, well, not Orzhov, of course, there's no black in the deck. It is a Boros Guild Gate. There we go. Hasn't affected me thus far, but I'm sure that I'll be better off with the correct land distribution there. So, again, 1 Azorius Guild Gate, 1 Boros Guild Gate, 1 Izzet Guild Gate, and then 4 Evolving Wilds. So, let's hope that the performance that I've seen thus far from the deck continues. We'll find out. Okay, this is a fairly okay hand. We've got the red mana to cast our early removal, plus we've got card draw and some threats with a good distribution of land. I think we'll keep this. I don't think it's the best sort of opening hand that we could hope for, but it is good. And I'm going to lead off with the Mountain, just on the off chance that our opponent is going to play a turn 1 creature, if they're mono red or red white or something that can do that. Or black with Sledge Crawler. So we will go ahead and impulse that guy, just get him off the board. Then I think we will almost certainly be playing the Evolving Wilds. No, we won't either. We will be playing Island because I want to get Jace on the board and looting. Giving us some good card selection here. Hopefully he will survive. Most likely our opponent is playing Rakdos. Seems they are. It's where you usually see the Sledge Crawlers and the other devoid creatures. Pardon me. Carrier Thrall there. Alright, I don't plan on blocking with Jace, so I'm going to go ahead and loot. Alright, we drew Twin Bolt. That was a pretty good draw. We really don't need a second red source yet. But yeah, I don't want to get rid of these other. I'm going to discard the Plains. Then we will play the Evolving Wilds. We can fetch for a Plains, I believe, is what we're going to do. And we don't want to kill that Thrall with Twin Bolt on our turn because that would allow him to attack with an Unsummoning 6 Scion. In fact, we're probably just going to take the 2 damage and hope he plays another 1 toughness creature that we can get a 2-for-1 from the Twin Bolt. Reefsoul, we are not so lucky. Alright, so we will go ahead and do this now, as well as sacking our Evolving Wilds. Get a Plains. And now we can drop Gideon on our turn. Have a pretty good board presence there. We'll just 0 Gideon and make a 2/2 Knight ally. Make sure to click on the arrows there. I've had so many times when I try to click on the text that it picks up clicking on the wrong one. Not just with Gideon or other Planeswalkers. With a lot of things they have choices like that. Smothering Abomination. That could be an issue. Alright. So, do I use the Coastal Discovery without Awaken? That is the question. I probably do. I need the cards right now. So yeah, let's go ahead and Coastal Discovery. Alright, that was pretty good. This guy has Spell Mastery. So we will go ahead and kill this. And now we are free to get in there. Yes, attack with all, please. And we seem to be in a fairly good position here thus far. opponent seems to be in the tank a bit. Okay, Exquisite Firecraft. Yeah, I'm going at Gideon, so he's going to go ahead and remove our Gideon here. That is disappointing. Would much rather have liked for Gideon to stay around. Alright, so this is pretty good. We'll go ahead and play our Alchemist's Vial. And I'm going to go ahead and probably fire off the Epiphany main phase here, so that I can get the best land drop situation. Celestial Flare is an okay draw. Do I play the Guild Gate, or do I play Evo Wilds to sort of thin out our deck a bit more? I think I'm going to play the Wilds. And then I will keep attacking. We should probably fetch another blue source here. We have 3 white, 2 red, plus 1 in our hand. Of course, we do have an island in our hand too. Forerunner. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. We're going to get hit for 4 here. Yep, nothing we can really do about that at this point. And they're also going to Twin Bolt our Knight. Well, at least that's cards out of our opponent's hand. Let's go ahead and sacrifice this Evolving Wilds, please. And I guess I shall get a mountain. That's fine. I don't know that it's super relevant. Well, that was unfortunate. We'll go ahead and play the Glacial Fortress. I may sack this Vial to keep this guy from attacking so that I can get this Celestial Flare off on the Forerunner if they swing with it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Yes. If that gets them to not attack at all with the Forerunner, that's quite fine as well. But they're going to. Alright, maybe they thought I just misclicked. Would have liked to have kept the Vial around in case I draw another Artificer's Epiphany. But keeping our life total healthy is a much more important thing at the moment. Radiant Flames is a good draw. We'll go ahead and play our Guild Gate now. I'm not going to Radiant Flames a Scion token though. Not unless it beats us down from 14 to something quite a bit more precarious. Appears our opponent doesn't really have much of anything either at this point. I am quite happy with this deck to be in this situation. Okay, a Coastal Discovery. Well, we are going to Coastal Discovery. We're going to awaken it onto this island here. Yeah, I would rather not tap that island though. There we go. Alright, that's quite good. I'm going to go ahead and play the Alchemist's Vial. Alrighty. Well, let's swing for 4, shall we? And this is generally how the deck wins. Not saying that we are assured to win at this position, but this is what generally happens. You control the board, remove your opponent's creatures, and then usually win with an awakened land. And it looks like that may be the case since our opponent has left the building. Wasteland Strangler. Well, I don't have anything in exile, as it were. And we should have the win here. Let's go ahead and Radiant Flames for 2. That's fine. And we'll play our land as well. Go ahead and swing for 4. And I've got some loud vehicles going by my residence here. I do apologize if those come through very loudly. Well, that's okay. We still have enough damage with our burn spells here to get the job done. So, 1, 2. And 4 more. Alright, well, that went quite well. I think we can keep this. Seems alright. Looks like our opponent is mulliganing a lot. Alright, well. I think this is okay. Let's keep this. Yeah. We'll start off with a prairie stream, I think. That way we can get to Celestial Flare mana. Okay, so something aggressive probably here. Leading off with Suntail Hawk. I'll go ahead and play out our planes here, just in case that Suntail Hawk gets buffed up enough that I'll want to flare it. Be very nice if we could get a Radiant Flames fairly quickly here. Come on, Radiant Flames. Radiant Flames off the top. Well, that's not Radiant Flames. Alright, let's get our red mana out. Could have played the island and held up Scatter to the Winds. I'm not going to flare here because they're going to sack the bird. And if I wanted the bird dead, I would have done it last turn and not taken that 1 point of damage. I'm hoping to draw into a sweeper. And then I can use the Celestial Flare and Exquisite Firecraft to clean up afterwards. It's looking like that may not be doable though. Now, if I just draw here and let them attack, they are going to do 8 damage minimum, be 3, 6, 7, and 9 damage minimum, which would put us to 7. That's barring any other buffs. I think I'm going to risk it, because again, Celestial Flare is not going to do anything except prevent 2 points of damage from the Hawk there. Alright, let's go ahead and draw. Alright. We're still not seeing any sweepers. And unfortunately we didn't draw any fiery impulses or twin bolts this game either. So this may be over really quickly. Nimbus Wings, okay. So 7, 8, 9. We're taking 10 here. Yep. Going to 6. Still, if we can get a sweeper off the top here, there's still a good chance that we can stabilize. But we really need a Radiant Flames or a Planar Outburst, which we did not get. In fact, we're pretty much just dead here. We can kill the Consul's Lieutenant with the Twin Bolt that we just drew, but then this guy and that will do enough to kill us. We can Celestial Flare. I guess we'll try it. Let's go ahead and Twin Bolt. And if there's no further buffs, we can survive one more draw step to try to get something. So when we cast this flare, they're certainly going to sacrifice the Hawk. So going to 1 here. Alright, Heliod's Pilgrim. What are you going to search for, my dear? Knightly Valor. That's the big dog of the enchantments. Alright, so it's Planar Outburst or nothing here. And it's nothing. Might as well see what we can draw. Well, Edict would have gotten rid of the one guy, but... Yeah. Yeah, discard this. That's fine. Alright, that's game. Let our opponent swing for the win here. And as you can see, you really need the early removal, the red-based Twin Bolts and Fiery Impulses, or you need to draw a sweeper fairly early. Alright, well, hopefully we will do a bit better in the next one. Okay, this is better, I think, than the last one. I'm going to keep it. We need to go for a mountain. Hopefully we don't screw ourselves here and not end up getting any blue this time. See what the opponent is doing. Alright, plains and pass, it seems. Get a mountain. Make sure that we have access to our Fiery Impulse. We will cast Alchemist's Vial, trying to find a land drop for next turn here. And we did. Awesome. And there's our first blue source. Still need one more to turn on Scatter to the Winds. And here we should be able to find out if our opponent is aggro or controlling. And it looks like they are probably a controlling sort of build, or a mid-range maybe. Alright, pass. We can Artificer's Epiphany our opponent's instep if our mana isn't otherwise tied up. Okay, Bant colors are showing. There's a Pilgrimage. There's nothing we can do to stop that at the moment. Hopefully we're not going to get Acid Mossed. I am going to Epiphany. Hopefully we'll find a blue source and then we'll be able to assure ourselves that we won't get Acid Mossed. We did not. Alright. Let's go ahead and Coastal Discovery. Alright, there's some blue. So we are going to discard Exquisite Firecraft here, I think. No, seeing as how our opponent seems to be ramp, I think Radiant Flames is probably the best thing to discard. And now we're not too awfully upset if anything gets Acid Mossed. I mean, we'd very much prefer nothing did, but with these two mana in our hands, it's not such a big deal. Oh, Archangel, okay. Well, we do have Celestial Flare, so that's good. At any rate, we have Angelic Edict as well now. I'm going to try to hold up Celestial Flare here. That way, we also have the ability to counter with Scatter, and leaving open our other damage-based removal as well. Do you want to swing Acid Moss? Well, we are going to scatter that. And yes. Ooh, Dispel. That's bad. Well, at least we tapped the land they were targeting. Alright, flare you. Good deal. See what the draw phase has in store for us. Wilds. Yeah, we'll play the Wilds and pass. Waiting to crack that thing. If our opponent has another Acid Moss, we'll know what we need when they target our land with it. They didn't though, so that's good. Alright, going through attack phase. We'll pause. We will get a blue source. Confirm. And pause again. And impulse this guy. Spell Mastery allowing us to kill him there. Good to see a planar outburst. Hopefully we're not going to get more Acid Moss on our land. Kind of need those. Looks like our opponent is up to 9 land. That's not a great thing. Ulamog could be in our future. Luckily we do have Angelic Edict to deal with Ulamog, so he wouldn't be game over, but it would restrict our mana. Okay, it looks like we're doing draw go now. Alright, we have a lot of burn. 8 points of damage sitting in our hand. If we could top deck another Coastal Discovery, that would be peachy keen. A Scatter to the Winds would be very nice as well. Nope, more removal. And that's fine, we're not getting killed yet. There's mana number 10. And Ulamog does not make an appearance, so there's that. Let's make land drops and pass. This is what you call old school control. Drago. Exciting, isn't it? Well, nothing still from the opponent. And nothing still from us. Just holding up mana, holding up spells. Well, up to 11 mana over there. We're up to 9 ourselves. Ooh, there's good. That probably will get counterspelled. I'll be very honest with you. Do we risk running into a counter here? We've seen no counter magic from our opponent except for this Dispel. But that leads me to believe there's more. So I'm going to pass the turn. Do not want my Gideon to be counterspelled. If we can get them to blink first, that would be much preferable. Alright, there's an elf. This is a very weird sort of build of deck that we're seeing here. Going to impulse that guy. Come on, counter that. You know you want to. Tap some mana for me. Oh, pumping? That's not enough. That's fine? So now our opponent is tapped out, and we can safely resolve our Gideon. Say hello to my planeswalker friend. Let's 0 Gideon. The next turn we can start swinging. The opponent's sitting there with 7 cards in hand. Planar Outburst, okay. Looks like it's awakened. And oops, what, darn it. I tried to pause and again it would not. Yeah, sometimes I really don't like the interface to this. Wanted to Alchemist Vial that guy, but what can you do? I guess we'll firecraft the land now. Save our angelic edict for when Ulamog inevitably appears. Yeah, that was not good at all. Ooh, Plated Crusher. Now we can Planar Outburst. Hopefully not get countered. We'll awaken on a plains. Please, let's not tap the plains we're awakening onto. Go ahead and play our Evolving Wilds there. And attack. Reprisal, okay? Yep. This game is becoming much harder than it should be, due to the fact I couldn't activate the Alchemist Vial like I wanted to. Nissa's Revelation? About to draw a bunch of cards and gain a bunch of life. Probably. Okay, well, 2 and 2. Not as much as I was expecting, but that's fine. Alright, let's see what we can get with our Evolving Wilds. Down to 2 basics left. I guess we'll get an island here. Anything else, friend? Alright, so our turn. Edict. I'd rather use a twin bolt though, that's more efficient. Alright, pass back. Yep. Had a suggestion about the pausing, that sometimes when it wouldn't pause when you hit the spacebar, you could hit the UI and it should. The problem is when that happens that I often can't react fast enough to go down here and move my mouse and hit the UI element. That's the reason I generally try to use the keyboard shortcut to pause. Alright, well that's a good draw. Let's go ahead and draw some cards. Okay, so we will Alchemist Vial. Ooh, a scatter. Then we will Fiery Impulse. Good deal. So no attacking creatures on our opponent's side, and counter magic up on ours. And it's still sitting with a lot of cards in hand. I don't mind you killing my Alchemist Vial, that's fine. And I don't mind for you casting that either. I will just Planar Outburst you. Alright, we will do that first, I think. You will awaken onto an island. And we'll try not to tap that island. And we will attack. And maybe get killed with something. Maybe not. Good deal. Finally dealt some damage to our opponent here. Okay. So just land and go. And that will kind of be what we do as well, except with an attack in the middle there. Celestial Flare. Let's try to scatter that with Awaken. And I'm going to awaken onto the land that's already swinging. Normally I would like to kind of diversify my threats a bit, but since that one was already on the attack, I thought getting the extra damage in would be pretty nice. Ooh, suppression bonds, yes or no? No. I'm not sure, I don't think suppression bonds can target a land, can it? That may be the case. Alright, well, Clifftop Retreat. We'll play our Alchemist Vial here and draw a card. It was a land. I'm going to waste an Angelic Edict on this guy so that we can get our clock to 2 turns here. Hopefully there's not more removal incoming on this attack. Doesn't appear to be. Take our opponent to 4. Wild Size to draw a card, apparently. Yeah, this is a very, very different sort of deck build than you see. Mixing ramp with all these little creatures is different, to say the least. It's the first actually big threat that we've seen from our opponent. And a Pilgrim's Eye. Well, it's going to take more than that to survive one more turn. Need at least one more blocker to be able to do that. Does not appear you got one. Well, let's Edict the Sower. Then we will Alchemist's Vial so that the Pilgrim's Eye cannot attack. And we'll go to combat, or cannot attack or block, so no blocking was generally what I was trying to go for there. And that will be that, friends. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Friday Night Magic. I will link to the deck list that is posted on Covert Go Blue's latest Duels Diary blog entry so that you can see it written out there if you'd like to. And join me again next week when we explore more of Magic Duels and I attempt to not screw up quite so much. And until then, be excellent to each other.